The streets of Israel are ablaze with anger and grief. From Tel Aviv to smaller towns, protests have engulfed the nation. The catalyst? Families whose loved ones are held captive by Hamas in Gaza. Tens of thousands of Israelis have poured into public squares, demanding the safe return of the hostages. The sheer scale of these demonstrations underscores the depth of emotion coursing through Israeli society. It's a collective plea for unity and a desperate cry for action. In the eye of this storm stands Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, facing an unprecedented wave of public anger. His response? An unyielding stance, marked by a refusal to bow to Hamas's demands. Netanyahu argues that any concession would only embolden the militant group and jeopardize Israel's long-term security. His stance resonates with a segment of the Israeli population that prioritizes national security above all else. However, Netanyahu's unyielding position has drawn sharp criticism from within his own ranks and from opposition leaders. The decisions he makes in the coming days will have profound consequences for Israel's future. The protests engulfing Israel are not confined to street demonstrations. They have morphed into a nationwide movement of civil disobedience. The Histadrut, Israel's largest labor union, has called for a general strike that has brought the country to a standstill. Flights have been grounded, schools and businesses shuttered, and public transportation paralyzed. The normally bustling streets of Israel's cities are eerily quiet, a testament to the collective grief and frustration gripping the nation. The strike has thrown the country's economy into disarray and brought daily life to a grinding halt. The strikes and protests have created an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty throughout Israel. They serve as a constant reminder of the human cost of the conflict and the urgent need for a resolution. The hostage crisis in Israel has reverberated across the globe, drawing condemnation from world leaders and international organizations. The United States has urged both sides to situation and prioritize the safe return of the hostages. The international community has been united in its condemnation of Hamas's actions, labeling the taking of civilians as hostages a heinous act of terrorism. The pressure on Israel to resolve the crisis peacefully is immense. World leaders are urging Israel to explore all diplomatic avenues and avoid any actions that could further endanger the hostages. The international community's response will play a crucial role in shaping the trajectory of the crisis. At the heart of this crisis lies Hamas, the militant group that controls the Gaza Strip. Hamas's decision to take Israeli civilians hostage has been met with widespread condemnation, but the group remains defiant, using the hostages as leverage. Hamas's demands are clear: the release of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails in exchange for the freedom of the hostages. The group has released videos of the captives, a chilling reminder of their plight. Hamas has exploited this vulnerability, using the hostages as bargaining chips in its long-standing conflict with Israel. The group's use of hostages highlights the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the challenges of finding a peaceful resolution. As days turn into nights, the fate of the hostages hangs in the balance. Netanyahu faces an unenviable dilemma. He must weigh the safety of the hostages against the long-term security concerns of Israel. The international community continues to urge both sides to engage in dialogue and de-escalate the situation. However, the deep-seated mistrust and animosity between Israel and Hamas make a negotiated settlement a daunting prospect. The world watches with bated breath, hoping for a miracle, a glimmer of hope in the darkness.